Okay, this is question 8 from the 2018 WJC Additional Maths paper. So solve the following simultaneous equations. So this time we have a quadratic and a linear equation. And we use an algebraic method, and here's our key clue for this, is that we want to have our answers correct to 2 decimal places. Now that straight away suggests to me that when we solve this, it's not going to factorize. We're going to have to use the quadratic formula. So it's likely, it's not guaranteed, but pretty much is. So it's likely not to factorize. We're likely to have to use the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got. If we want to solve these, then they're going to have the same y. So I can say that this version of the y and this version of the y have to be the same. So I could put those equal to each other. So I can say 5x squared plus 6x minus 7 is going to equal the 2x plus 3, where these two curves are equal. So now a quadratic is being formed. So in order to solve a quadratic, I want it equal to 0. So I can take 2x off both sides. That'll leave me with 5x squared plus 4x. And I can take 3 off both sides, which will give me minus 10. So what we have is, let's have a look. We got a value of a is my coefficient of x squared. My value of b is my coefficient of x, which is positive 4. Make sure you take into account that it's a positive. Okay, negatives are where a lot of marks get lost and a lot of incorrect answers happen here. And c is our constant, which is negative 10. Okay, so using the quadratic formula, so the quadratic formula says x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so my a there, they're going to be replaced with 5s. My b's there, they're going to be replaced with 4s. And my c at the end, that's going to be replaced with negative 10. So I get x equals negative b. So when I make my substitution, I always put it in brackets. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. So b is 4 squared minus 4 lots of a, which is 5. Lots of c, which is negative 10, all over 2a, so 2 lots of 5. Now, I can put all this straight into the calculator, one with a plus sign in, and then another one with the minus sign in. So let's go to my calculator. So I have negative 4, I'd have the plus, the square root of 4 bracket squared minus 4 bracket 5 bracket negative 10 all over 2 bracket 5 will give me that x equals, and I want this to 2 decimal places. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do first of all. I'll write it in full. So I'll have x equals negative 2. So on my calculator, I've got plus 3 root 6 over 5. Now, that's if I put the plus in. If I put the minus sign in, all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a minus sign there. So I'll keep that there. So I've ticked that off. And then let's turn it into 2 decimal places. That becomes 1.07. And if I use a minus sign, just scroll through, change it to a negative, I get negative 1.87. Now, I need to find a value of y that satisfies this as well. So I've got two expressions I can use for y and values for x that I can substitute in. Now, probably easier to substitute into the linear one, but both will give you the same answer coming out. So, if I sub in y equals 2x plus 3, then for this one, my y is going to be 2 lots of 1.07 plus 3. Now I'm going to use the 1.07 on my calculator. So let's have 2 of that plus 3 is 5.14. And here I get 2 lots of negative 1.87 plus 3. Again, I'm going to scroll back through and find that answer on my calculator. And I'm going to use that. So 2 lots of that plus 3 is negative 0.74. Okay, so these are my solutions. I've got my x is 1.07, y is 5.14, and x is negative 1.87, y is negative 0.74.